We've shut down the flow, not just of illegal immigrants, but the flow of sexual trafficking and the flow of fentanyl into our communities. It's absolutely staggering when you think about, the hemming and the hawing that the Biden administration did, saying that they needed to have a bill in order to stem the tide of illegal immigration that started on day one of his administration. The fact is, we didn't need a bill. We just needed a president who is very serious about protecting America on our borders.
As chairman of the Republican National Committee, Michael Whatley is helping lead the charge to make America great again, not in theory, but in action. From exposing election fraud to unleashing a nationwide ground game, Chairman Whatley is on the front lines of the fight, and he joins us now. Chairman, great to see you. Hey, let's start with the one big, beautiful bill. A poll I just saw showed that 80% of Americans support this bill, Chairman. Why is it so important that this bill gets to President Trump's desk and it becomes law for the American people?
We need to get this bill to the president's desk so that we can really jumpstart the economy. We are dealing with so much coming out of Joe Biden's, tenure in the White House. What we really want to make sure that we're doing is putting the economy on track to work for every family, for every American worker, for every job. And that's what's really in this bill. You think about there's tax cuts in there, that are really truly going to help every single household. It is the largest tax cut in American history. And it's surprising to me that the Democrats have lined up unanimously and said not a single one of them voted for this bill in the House. Not a single one is going to vote for it in the Senate. Every time you see an 80-20 issue these days, the Democrats are reflexively getting on the wrong side of it.
Yeah, and Chairman, that includes border security, by the way, and illegal immigration, also a component of the big, beautiful bill. Hey, it's hard to believe, but we're looking forward. I know you're looking forward already to the midterms in November 2026. President Trump's border security miracle, I think that's all that we can call it. I mean, it's been amazing to see the security enhanced at the border overnight after President Trump got in office. How big a role will that play in the midterms as that approaches?
Well, it was one of the two big issue sets that we dealt with in the 24 election cycle. Obviously, the economy was number one. Border security was number two. The president ran on an agenda that included restoring our southern border and making sure that he's going to keep our kids and our communities safe. And what we've done is we've shut down the flow, not just of illegal immigrants, but the flow of sexual trafficking and the flow of fentanyl into our communities. It's absolutely staggering when you think about the hemming and the hawing that the Biden administration did, saying that they needed to have a bill in order to stem the tide of illegal immigration that started on day one of his administration. The fact is, we didn't need a bill. We just needed a president who is very serious about protecting America on our borders.
It was insanity, but now you're making America sane again. And part of that is making America respected in the world once again, Chairman. Tell us the sea change that we've seen since President Trump took office just a little over 4 months ago in America's standing in the world. The likes of Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, they're suddenly on notice now that there is a strong leader back in the White House.
Yeah, peace through strength is not just a pithy campaign slogan from Ronald Reagan. It's the way that the world works. And the fact is that Donald Trump is going to make sure that America is going to be strong. We have an administration right now with our national security team led by Pete Hegseth as the Secretary of Defense, with Secretary Rubio and a number of others that are fundamentally committed to making sure that we are going to stand by our allies, that we are going to be respected as a country, and then, frankly, that our enemies are going to have to respect us or else they're going to face the consequences.
Yeah, Chairman, one of the things I love about President Trump is he has all the leverage and he's not afraid to use it. Imagine that. And part of that comes in trade and with tariffs. There have been some big victories over the past few weeks, right? In terms of President Trump pushing the tariffs, and rightfully so, pushing fair trade for the American people. And now these countries, it seems, are starting to blink. How do you see that?
Any other president in history who lines up a deal with UK, lines up a deal with China, has a framework in place with the European Union, a framework in place with India, you would call that the most successful trade deal administration ever. The fact is the president has done that in less than 90 days. We have brought over 100 different countries to the table, and we are resetting the world trade order in order to make sure that America is going to be treated fairly.
Yeah, Chairman, about a minute left. Could you talk more about the big tent that the Republican Party has become under President Trump? I mean, you've got working class, you've got Americans of all economic and gender, everything coming together, all age groups coming together under President Trump. What makes this presidency, this president, this Republican Party so attractive?
Well, the fact that he has completely remade the Republican Party, the fact that we are now fighting for every community, we're fighting for every single family, the fact that, President Trump went into downtown Milwaukee, downtown Detroit, downtown Philadelphia. He went into the Bronx. He went into Atlanta, and he talked to every single family. That's why we had record turnout for a Republican candidate among Hispanic voters, among Black voters, among Asian American voters. And our challenge as we go forward is to make sure that the Republican Party continues to do what President Trump did, which is talk to your voters directly, understand the issues that they care about, and put solutions on the table. When we do that, the Republican Party is going to succeed.
Chairman, well said. Chairman of the Republican National Committee, Michael Whatley, thanks so much for joining us, folks. Make sure to follow him on X, across social media. Chairman, God bless. We'll see you again soon. Stakelbeck Tonight, my all-new nightly series on current events through a bold biblical lens. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so you never miss an upload, and tap the bell icon so you're notified every time a new video is posted. And don't forget to share your thoughts, insights, and comments below. Thanks for watching, and God bless.